believe a chef cursed at 15. Every dish I create, a masterpiece to others, tastes like ash or iron to me. My palate is dead, a cruel trick for someone born to cook. I journey across strange universes, not for fame or fortune. My quest is simple, to find the one recipe that can break this curse. I yearn to taste again, to truly savor the magic I weave. This isn't about glory, it's about reclaiming my humanity, one ingredient at a time. I just want to feel normal. A faint hum of arcane energy vibrated through the air, like a giant, unseen oven preheating. The scent of ozone mixed with something sweet, almost like caramelized stardust, filled my lungs. It was a new universe, a fresh kitchen waiting to be explored. My worn ladle felt heavy and familiar in my hand, a grounding presence. I could almost hear the sizzle of exotic ingredients on an invisible griddle. The air itself felt thick, a rich broth of possibilities simmering around me. This place had the potential for incredible flavors, even if I couldn't taste them yet. My chef sense tingled, ready for the next culinary challenge. The air here tasted like chilled, fermented starlight, thick with the scent of damp earth and something metallic, like a forgotten iron pot left in the rain. My boots sank slightly into soil that felt like coarse, mineral-rich salt, crunching softly with each step. Above, bioluminescent fungi pulsed with a soft, purple glow, illuminating gnarled roots that twisted like ancient, petrified pasta. This place was a chef's dream, a natural pantry waiting to be plundered. I spotted a cluster of dark, almost black roots keeking from the soil, their tips shimmering faintly. Midnight root, I mused, its bitterness promising a complex depth. Nearby, a small pool of murky, almost viscous liquid bubbled gently, smelling distinctly of bitter brine. My worn ladle felt a familiar weight in my hand, itching to scoop up these strange treasures. I imagined the possibilities, the way these ingredients could sing together. Even if I couldn't hear their melody, a shiver of excitement ran through me, a rare feeling that pushed past the constant ash and iron. Perhaps this universe held the key, a recipe to finally taste again. The thought was a fragile, delicious hope. I bent down, my fingers brushing against the cool, dark root. This was where the next culinary adventure began. I wondered what magic these humble ingredients truly held. A faint hum vibrated from the midnight root as my fingers grazed its surface. I felt a subtle tremor, a resonance in the damp earth. I leaned closer, detecting a sharp, metallic tang beneath the soil's aroma. My chef's intuition began to read the invisible script. Tiny iridescent crystals like frozen tears clung to the root's dark skin. They pulsed faintly, reacting to arcane energy. Its mineral signature indicated a volatile compound, sensitive to stimuli. A wisp of vapor curled from the root where it met the soil. A slow chemical chain unfolded, a silent conversation. The root held a suppressed energy, a coiled tension. My worn ladle felt heavy, a tool of discovery. I sensed a profound reaction simmering within. It was a culinary mystery. I wondered its true magical effect. The air in the cavern hung heavy, tasting of damp stone and something acrid, like old battery acid. Bioluminescent fungi cast an eerie, shifting glow on the slick walls. My boots squelched in puddles of bitter brine, each step echoing through the vast space. Ahead, a small, hunched figure, a spore tender, sat slumped beside a cluster of midnight roots. Its normally vibrant, mushroom-capped skin was a dull, sickly gray. A faint metallic tang emanated from the spore tender, a subtle chemical distress signal my chef's nose instantly recognized. It wasn't just sadness, it was a systemic imbalance, a slow poisoning. I knelt, my worn ladle clinking against the damp rock. The spore tender whimpered, pointing a trembling finger at the roots. They pulsed with a dark, almost hungry energy. I realized the roots were drawing something vital from the surrounding environment, leaving the spore tender depleted. Its distress was a direct consequence of the roots' growth. My culinary instincts told me this wasn't just about harvesting, it was about restoring balance. I needed to understand the roots' true nature to help this creature. Perhaps a specific preparation could neutralize their draining effect. I felt a familiar spark of curiosity, despite the ash in my own mouth. A low, hungry thrum vibrated from the midnight roots, echoing the spore tender's shallow breaths. I observed the creature's fading glow, its energy clearly siphoned by the pulsing roots. My mind clicked through culinary principles. Volatile ingredients like these often require a specific medium to stabilize their inherent magic. The recipe's mention of shrieking until submerged in oil wasn't just a quirky instruction. Oil, I realized, could be a conductor, a thermal blanket, or even a nutritional substitute for the root's hunger. It could satiate their draining impulse. I retrieved my small, heat-stained pot and a jar of shimmering golden oil from my pack. The spore tender watched, a flicker of hope in its dull eyes. I carefully selected a root, its dark surface twitching with contained power. This wasn't just cooking, it was a precise act of energetic rebalancing. My worn ladle felt like a surgeon's tool. I had to get this right. A faint, high-pitched whine emanated from the midnight root, a sound only I seemed to perceive. I gently lifted the gnarled root from its bed, its dark surface pulsing with a contained, hungry energy. It felt ancient, a living artifact cradled in my palm, demanding respect. My worn ladle, usually for stirring, now felt like a ceremonial tool. I closed my eyes, attempting my usual phantom taste, a ritual of longing. I imagined its texture, dense and fibrous, like a root vegetable from a forgotten, sunless world. Would it be cool to the touch, or warm with its internal magic? I pictured a faint bitterness, a mineral tang, a whisper of the earth it grew from. A fleeting sweetness, perhaps, like caramelized stardust. But the phantom taste always ended the same way. A familiar, metallic tang, a ghost of ash on my tongue. My curse, a constant, cruel reminder, even in this moment of creation. My heat-stained pot waited, shimmering with golden oil, a promise of transformation. This wasn't just cooking. It was an act of reverence, a delicate balancing of forces. The spore tender watched, its hope a silent plea. I had to get this right, for its sake, and for the magic I still yearned to taste. The midnight root pulsed, a low, thrumming vibration against my fingertips. A sharp, piercing shriek erupted from the gnarled root, echoing through the bioluminescent cavern. The spore tender gasped, its glowing eyes wide with fear and wonder. I held the screaming root steady, my worn ladle hovering over the shimmering golden oil. The air crackled with the root's desperate protest. I respected its wild energy. With a gentle motion, I lowered the midnight root into the heat-stained pot. The shriek instantly cut off, replaced by a soft, contented sizzle. Relief washed over the spore tender. Its glowing tendrils reached towards the silent pot. You understood its pain, the spore tender whispered, its voice a rustle of leaves. Such kindness, young chef. Your wisdom runs deep. I nodded, a small smile playing on my lips, despite the ash taste. The contented sizzle of the midnight root filled the cavern. My chef's knife, my extension, moved with practiced grace. I lifted the now pliant root, glistening, onto the obsidian board. Each slice was deliberate. Steel whispered, creating discs. My hands moved in a blur, a dance honed by worlds. Next, I measured the bitter brine, its tang against the root's sweet scent. Drops fell from my worn ladle, each splash a perfect circle. Then came the ash, fine, gray, sifted through a spider silk sieve. It drifted down like silent snow, coating discs in a delicate layer. I folded the ingredients gently, rhythmic, sure movements, a silent symphony. The spore tender watched. Its glowing eyes watched my actions. I imagined the complex flavors, knowing only ash awaited me. This dish was a promise I couldn't keep. It was another step closer to breaking the curse. The cavern air thrummed, a low vibration in my chest. I lowered mandrake discs into the obsidian pot. A faint whine started, growing sharper, piercing stone. The mandrake protested, its sound making my teeth ache. The spore tender recoiled, eyes wide with alarm. I poured golden oil from a clay amphora. As the first disc touched oil, the wine intensified to a shriek. I quickly submerged them. Oil bubbled around roots. The sound abruptly cut off, leaving silence. A sweet, earthy aroma filled air, replacing ozone. The spore tender approached, tendrils reaching for a glistening disc. It tasted, glowing eyes welled with liquid light, memories surfacing. A soft, contented sigh escaped its fungal form, radiating peace. I watched, an ache in my chest, knowing magic was real. Another triumph, a flavor I would never know. My curse remained. The mandrake's earthy aroma faded, replaced by the crisp, metallic tang of an approaching celestial storm. Shimmering motes of starlight pattered against the cavern entrance, pure cosmic energy. My worn ladle felt heavy, grounding me in this multiverse. Each magical dish crafted, each wonder witnessed, brought me closer to understanding true flavor. My palate remained stubbornly dead, tasting only ash or iron, yet hope never faded. The spore tender's joy was a mirror, showing me the fundamental human experience I fought to reclaim. I adjusted my heat-stained apron, a silent promise to my lost senses. The air hummed with a rhythmic, metallic pulse, hinting at a world of intricate gears and precise measurements. Perhaps a calibrated universe holds the key to my broken taste buds. A cursed chef knows complex flavors come from precise mechanisms.